So I am going to be reading out of Revelation verses 10 through 11. And it reads, "And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, Now the salvation and the power our God and the authority of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brothers have been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. And they have conquered him, the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, for they love not their lives even unto death." Okay. Word is going to be of my testimony. Who am I? Who am I? Okay. So originally, I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. I was born and I am. So I grew up in church. I used to go with my grandmother and church. I used to go to church with my grandma, like maybe about 9. When I was 9 years old, I had an older cousin, and his name was Ricky, and he was murdered by the police when he was 21 years old. And for the first time in life, I began to see life differently. I began to see that life was all peaches and cream, and it wasn't a fairy tale. As a child, I had a lot of faith. And then I would say that moment broke my innocence. It shattered the way I viewed life. It shattered my thinking. It altered my perception of life. And from that point on, at 9 years old, I didn't realize then that I was experiencing like depression and think brother. He was like my brother. You know, they lived in the same house with us. They ate with us. They slept with us. My mom raised them. So um that was hard for me. I took it really, really hard. I took it really hard. So after, and I'm sorry if I don't. So yeah, so I experienced a lot of depression. And I used to love to write, and I used to love to go to church. I was just wondering, like, like God, what is this? Like, I didn't come back, and my questions began to turn to slowly but for surely. Looking at it now, I started pulling from God, things like that. So that was like my starting point. So then time went on, and then I began hanging with my friends in the neighborhood. Now, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, time going on. So around like eighth grade, this time I already like start losing my interest in God. So like by like eighth grade, that's when you get like you have your period, and then you get to puberty bad and turned up. Like we just rap and having fun. So by now, um, me and my dad always had a close relationship when I was younger. My dad, he was very, very, very over like sixth or seventh grade or whatever, but his relationship was real toxic. So anyway, that drew a wedge between me and my dad. So and stopped communicating with my dad. I became angry with my dad. I started to resent him. I became rebellious. calls from him or anything. He'd call my mom. It was just like I was just acting out, you know. So it went from, acting out and things of that sort to pretty much the end of that. So it's lost my virginity and yeah, so I'm having sex and I'm fighting, I'm turned up, I'm worried about my popularity, I'm worried about, my clout, I'm worried about making much. So in high school, I started smoking weed. I started smoking weed. I was drinking, fighting, and then I started noticing a big, big, big change in myself in high school. I was real disrespectful to my mom, disrespectful. Like I was arguing, like I ain't, I didn't fight her, but I might as well fought her because like running away and I was just acting a fool. But see, didn't nobody know why I was acting a fool. Only I knew that I was like depressed and like I was going through so much and I just felt like so much was up against me. I was mad because I didn't have my dad in my life. I was mad because my friends and my family was dying. I was taking it out on everybody else. It was just like I had my mind made up that I was upset. I was fed up. So I was just really just acting out everybody. My mom, my dad, or just anybody around me, people at school or whoever. Like I was just taking my anger out on everybody. People I knew, people I didn't know. I'm talking about if you said anything to me, people would tell you I was getting smart. As soon as you seen me coming, you knew like, oh man, here come drop. She on that mess today. I was starting with people they didn't even have to say nothing to me. I was on that mess. So um I went through those changes in high school. So then that pretty much was like me just being real rebellious, being real disrespectful. So it went on from there to now I'm out of high school and now I'm trying to find myself. Who am I? So like dating boys and stuff like that, you think you in love and you find a person you really like. So I was dating this guy and I really liked him. But long story short, he ended up betraying me and he broke my heart. And so it went from him breaking my heart to me getting hurt again. It just seemed like I was encountering hurt after hurt after hurt after hurt. So then at this point, I began to act out. I began to think, um, I lost all I was thinking about was hurting him and getting him back. So I ended up dating his very close friend. So I ended up they didn't make me feel I devalued myself. I devalued self-worth. It was just like, okay, I don't care anymore. It is what it is. I was very promiscuous. Very promiscuous. Like I was just doing what I wanted to do. Like couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Like I'm gonna talk to who I want to talk to. I'm gonna have sex with who I want to have sex with. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I didn't care how I was viewed. I didn't care what people had to say about me. I didn't care about what people thought. I just did not care. Like literally, I did not care. So, well, actually, I really did care, but I was trying to convince myself that I didn't care. I was just trying to convince myself, like, okay, I don't care. This don't matter. Like, I was just trying to convince myself in my mind that I don't care, but really cared. And really, I knew that I was so a hoe. So, my life, basically, long story short, has spiraled so far out of control with this I don't care attitude. I was just, oh my God. Oh Lord Jesus. Oh. I was just a full mess. Talking about it now, it's just like I'm going down memory lane. Um, so like the people I was being around, I had started gaining certain kind of groups of friends. I get people who walk in rebellion. So in particular, I had started or hanging around for some reason. Like a lot of my friends around me at the time was gay. So I went through this stage where I was confused about my sexuality. I didn't know if I liked the boys. I didn't know if I liked the girls. I knew I liked them both. So I started dating girls. Oh Lord. So I started dating girls, but I was trying to keep it a secret. Like I didn't want it to be known that I was dating girls. And like it was crazy because like it was a point in time when like certain exposures came in my life and it was being exposed. But I still was trying to deny it. Like, no, I don't like girls and like, but so I experimented with that. I went through my spat where I experimented with homosexuality. And eventually I grew out of that. So by this time I'm fighting, smoking, drinking. I'm rebellious against my parents. I don't respect nobody. I'm experience um I'm just a whole just hot mess. So then I began to get like a drinking problem. Like drinking, this casual fun drinking began to like I was probably like 18 or 19. I was literally like a little teenager, a functional alcoholic. Me and my friends drunk every day. We smoke weed every day. Like this was just like the turned up thing to do. We thought that's what was going on with that situation. So it had got so bad to where the point my mom, my brother, my dad, just anybody that could I was dating the wrong person and he was abusive. He was toxic. Um, oh my God, like phones. It was just a whole hot mess. He cheating on me, he got infidelity. I'm cheating on him, whole hot mess. So at that time too, um, I was growing up through brought me back to that place where you have to realize like self-value. I had given up on who I was. I had given up on my morals. I had given up on the sink in little by little, slowly by slowly. So in particular, my best friend that I think I was like 20 or 21. And he died. He died in 2013. I don't know how old I was then, but yeah, he died. So I know I was in my 20s, early 20s. So he died. And I remember going to his grave site one day. And I was so mad at God. I was so mad at God. I began to curse God. I was cussing God. I was cussing. I was cussing at God. I was going off. Never mind, y'all. I told y'all I was a whole hot mess. Yeah. I was cussing out the Lord. I was giving him a good piece of my mind. I was telling him like, and that is not what I was saying, but to sum it up, that's what I was saying. And I just don't understand why everything always got to go wrong in my life. And I was giving God a good piece of my mind. And I remember, and it was a sunny day outside. And I remember all of a sudden, I couldn't feel no love. I anguish my soul. And I remember getting this off from God. Nothing to do with me at that very exact second. Cause I was acting a fool, y'all. So I began to break down and cry really, 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 really bad. And I just began to tell God, like God, and confess everything that I am so sorry. I am so sorry for losing faith in you, for losing faith in who you are. I'm so sorry for turning my back on you. Like, and I just began to ask God, like, God, please, can you fix my life. Like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to live like this. Like, this is not me. And I remember after saying my confessions and literally begging and catching my breath, I was hyperventilating. I mean, it was one of those real good soul cries, like where I just gave God my whole self. I completely surrendered. Y'all, I'm laying all on the ground, acting a fool. So after that happened, I remember feeling like the sun came out and the sun began to, and I could, it's like that feeling that I felt, that anguish, it was gone. God did for me after I repented. God, me telling my testimony today. So after God took that feeling away from me, I began to after God took that feeling away from me. I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody was trying to get my attention. So after God took that feeling away from me, I remember slowly but for surely, life went on, the years passed, and my grieving began to get easier. And 2 years or 3 years after that, I began to get into the word of God again. I began to read my Bible again, little by little by little. Um, and I remember when I was like 22 or 23. Matter of fact, right after that, this is an important part. I ended up getting saved. I ended up getting baptized. So as the years went on, like 2 or 3 years passed, I said it, papa, yes, but at the same time, the ministry, I had dated from high school. Well, anyway, in particular, I was so afraid of my call. I turned down the call, accepted. I was scared. I'm like, oh no, no, God, you can't use me for that. God, you know how life is. Oh no, God, I'm not gonna do that. No, thank you, no, sir. I closed the Bible and stepped away from God again. So I started dating this guy, and we dated for 7 years. Long story short, I ended up having 2 kids by him, and um, so now, of course, I got 2 children, 2 little boys, beautiful, amazing, handsome, funny, fun, goofy. And I ain't gonna say crazy because like not crazy in a bad way, but they just full of life. They just, off the chain. But it's a blessing. So now I have 2 children. So in particular in this relationship, we had a lot of good times. We had a lot of good times. He was my best friend. Actually, I would still say he's still my best friend. Like I genuinely love him from the bottom of my heart. After a relationship, but sometimes you just don't want to let people go. So we ended up breaking up. So after we broke up, God began to reveal a lot of. So I'm back seeking God. I'm back in His presence. I need healing. I know I need God. Only God could get me through this. I got 2 kids. I got to look after. Depending on me, I'm not with their dad no more. I'm looking for guidance. I'm looking for God to order my steps. So I began to myself in God again, and God began to just deal with me. And this is as of, let's see, this 2021. This was in like 2019. So God began to just deal with me little by little. So as of like right now, as of I got a 3.7 GPA. All glory be to God, because God gives me knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Literally, God holds my hand through it all. It's not a day that I do not acknowledge the Father. So I'm in school right now for nursing, and since then, God has led me, literally, physically, for ministry, which is my purpose. And so, me telling my testimony is to not to encourage you to do these things, save your life from anything. God can and God will save your life from anything and everything that comes up against you. God can save your life through all. Anything you ever experience, God's hand is strong enough to deliver you from it. Listen to my story. Marijuana, liquor, drugs, rebellion, disrespect, being promiscuous, being drama, being a fighter, being messy. Just being a whole hot mess. Like a whole hot mess. Anything you could think of that was in rebellion, I probably did it. Just a whole hot mess. Deliver us from all. So it says that we overcome our adversary. We overcome Satan with our testimony. I tell you this to let you know that I am not perfect. I am no angel. I say this in truth, and God is my witness. This is a part of who I am. Coming to God, you do not do anything with somebody who's perfect. The people, the sinners of the world, foolish things of this world to confound the wise.